Today we are goal-oriented, okay?
Yes.
Goal-oriented. So, recently, for those of you who don't know, Alternative Hypothesis, a white supremacist race realist channel, they made a video on me. Still haven't watched it. It's very long. I'll get around to it, I'm sure, and craft a beautiful response. But until then, until that beautiful day, I would like to do some videos that are not 3 hours long and will not require research. Because most Nazi videos, I don't know if the alt-hype's actually a Nazi, I've heard conflicting reports, whatever. Because most Nazi videos take precisely, and I'm being very specific here, one brain cell to address. Exactly one. So if you took all of your brain cells and you gathered them together in a tight clump and you used, let's say, Elmer's glue to adhere them into a solid sphere, and you left but one brain cell bouncing around against the interior ridges of your brain, should you have any, that the activity produced by that motion would be sufficient to provide you the resources necessary to debunk Nazi talking points. So why don't we get around to that, huh? I'm no charlatan. I know what I titled this fucking stream. Nazis are dumb. Red Ice TV. Let's do it. Let's not waste a moment longer. And we begin with what is quite possibly my favorite trope in reactionary YouTube. The questions blank can't answer format. Also, sometimes the, questions posed for blank format. I really, really like these, because they are so fucking easy to respond to. The general goal of this type of video, the 40 questions for feminists or 15 questions SJWs can't answer. Usually the goal of this video, you ask extremely leading questions. You know, have you stopped beating your wife? That sort of thing. But it's usually invariably questions like, why do you hate white people so much when white people have built civilization around you? Or why do you claim to support Muslims when they're actually the greatest threat LGBT people have ever faced? It's that sort of thing, you know? It's like very like anger, like embittered questions directed to try and highlight hypocrisy in their enemy's thought process, only if you buy into the misconceptions they hold. So let's see if we can't melt some red ice. And I must say, how's my cam? Is my cam too small? Why is my cam so fucking small? Get out! Get out!
Oh, it's because you're playing Overwatch.
Oh yeah, Overwatch. I was in the Overwatch zone. My professional gamer zone. But now we are back into the politics zone. Get in! Get in! Oh, and it should be noted, of course, this is questions liberals can't answer. I'm not a liberal. I'm a leftist. I'm very, very explicitly not a liberal. So maybe I won't be able to answer some of these questions. I don't know. If one of the questions is like, how can you claim to support capitalism in spite of the fact that it hurts whites more than any other economic system in history, then
Gotcha.
shucks, yeah, they got me.
Gotcha.
They got me. I don't buy the premise. I don't like capitalism. All right, let us waste not a moment more, my friends. God, look at that flashy fucking logo. Why don't I have a flashy logo? Look at this. It's got like, shut up. It's got like particle. All my art assets are mine and mine alone to design. Look, it's got like 3D and there's like particle effects in the background. And there's smoke. This is Red Ice TV emerging from the race war that will destroy the world, okay? That's why there's fire everywhere. Oh, hey, it spooked me there. Damn. Damn, that's sick. There's no sound? Oh, yeah. I always forget to do that. Jesus Christ, chat. Cram it up your fucking asshole. So I'm a scuffed streamer. Eat my ass.
Hi, I'm Lana with Red Ice. It's true, you just can't argue with a leftist. All the evidence on the planet won't be enough because they live in an alt universe.
So, we're right off the bat, we're here with some protection. I am going to, like I did with the first Red Ice video, because I know Red Ice viciously brigades, I am going to do my best to speak as though I am speaking to a fan of Red Ice. I know I've got some of you in my chat right now. Probably in my YouTube chat, not my proper chat. So let me talk to you, okay? So this video is going to be full of leading questions that are designed to reinforce your ideology. The question to me is, do you actually believe these are good questions that highlight hypocrisy and the values you despise? Or do you know they're stupid and you just like them because it owns the libs? I'm not sure. So are you stupid or are you malicious? In truth, you're probably a mixture of the two. But I'm going to treat you, for the sake of this video, as someone who is utterly unaware of the fact that all of the questions and arguments posed in this video are really dumb. Really fucking dumb. And I think that a good way to start by doing that is to indicate the fact that the term alternative facts was literally coined by the Republican Party. I know technically Republicans are liberals too, and this is a Nazi channel. Red Ice TV is Nazis, so they would fall under that purview. But generally speaking, conspiratorial thinking, like the Jewish question, something this channel promotes, conspiratorial thinking being distinctly something which is irrational and not really contingent about material reality or factual evidence. That's way more fucking common on the right. The Great Replacement Theory, the Jewish question, the idea that like what's it called, the Talit, the Muslim thing where they can like lie to secretly like take over and make Sharia in the West. All of these conspiratorial sort of ways of thinking rooted very much in the fear and paranoia of reactionary thought. So to suggest that we're the ones living in alternative reality is nice meme. But we'll see where we go with this one.
Liberals are very bad at debating because they never do it. Because they only talk to other self-affirming, emotional stroking liberals and have had zero opposition to challenge them.
Yeah.
They are caught with their pants down at the most basic questions. But people like myself are very comfortable arguing with opponents.
Wait, really?
We've had a lot of practice to sharpen our arguments, and we don't crumble when people call us bad words. We deal with outrageous, never seen before censorship, banning, discrimination, defamation, and we're still here.
Wait, by we, I thought she meant Red Ice TV. Does she just mean, like, Nazis or reactionaries or whatever? Like, I don't know, dude. The TOS says don't hate black people, and you hate black people. I don't know what to say, guys. It's like, YouTube is so fucking lax in its restrictions. To get deplatformed from these places, like, you have to be really fucking bad at dog whistling. Which, to Red Ice's TV's credit, they're much better at dog whistling than a lot of the people who have been banned off of YouTube. Whatever the case is, if you're so good at debating, Red Ice TV, dumb white bitch, or what's the name of your husband, the guy who runs the channel, the one who Cringe posted and made a YouTube comment under the first video I did of you and linked it on his Facebook and on his Twitter and on his YouTube? That guy? Why don't you debate me? It'd be really fun. See, because I also like debate. I also, like you, milady, I too test my debate skills in the fire and fury of live discourse. So it'd be fun, right? You'll never accept it. Because you know you got absolutely fucking ass blasted the last time I did a video of yours. But I'm just, let it be known. Open invitation. I won't even, if it's the dumb white bitch, I won't even call you a dumb white bitch to your face, okay? I'll call you a small brain pale lady, okay? I'll be very, very civil, very politically correct for you, okay? I know you say the mean words don't hurt your feelings, but I've talked with you people. You get triggered as fuck anytime anyone calls you, like, racist. So let's do it.
As we toughen up, they become even weaker. Here are questions liberals cannot answer. 1. Gotta start with this one. If you're so pro-mass non-European immigration, why do you live in a white neighborhood? They may say, well, this town has plenty of diversity. Yeah, down there, not where you live, up here. Why aren't you living in an immigrant refugee part of town? 2.
Okay, that was a good one right off the bat. So, I'm of the opinion anyone who believes that's a good argument is probably acting in bad faith, because you would have to be incredibly stupid to believe that was a valid point. But no, Vosh. We got to reach across the aisle with this one. So, the reason why that's a bad argument, for one, you have no fucking idea where the person you're talking to lives. I'm about to live to a majority black move to a majority black neighborhood. I mean, I don't fucking know. But the fundamental argument here is that you can't support open borders and racial proliferation unless you're willing to live in Somali refugee ghettos and personally share your toothbrush with 8 brown people or something. That's pretty much the argument here. If you're so pro integration and immigration, why aren't you right now getting gangbanged by immigrants to help them or some nonsense like that? The answer for this, well, there are several answers. For one, it's possible that there are some left-leaning people who are totally okay with brown and black people and living with them and shit. They just happen to, through various socioeconomic circumstances, not live in areas that are very, diverse. That's fine. Do you want them to fucking move to downtown Chicago? Hey, I live in a nice suburb in SoCal. I'm very pro open border. Oh, you're pro open borders? We know what we got to do now. You're going to East LA, motherfucker. You can't support that. I mean, this is the same logic as you can't vote in favor of a war unless you're willing to personally sign up. Except that makes a lot more sense, because in that instance, the argument there being you shouldn't be willing to commit a nation to war unless you're willing to fight it itself. The only way that comparison would make sense is if you believe that the act of people immigrating here, peacefully acclimating into our society and committing per capita lower rates of crime than the domestic population, could be counted as a war, which, to the credit of the people who watch this channel, they do. So let's mend some points. For one, immigrants coming over isn't a violent act. That's their right. They've been doing it for a while. It's totally okay. You can calm down. For two, it's okay to want those things and not personally be sharing your showers and toilet with Somali refugees. And three, it's totally possible that there are left-leaning people who want open borders but are still a little bit racist. Maybe they personally distance themselves from more diverse communities because they're afraid of brown or black people. Oh, that's their problem, not mine. Doesn't mean they're not right on the open borders thing. Very, very stupid argument. That's it's the same argument, by the way. Oh, if you love white people so much, why aren't you running around right now, fucking as many people as you can unprotected to pump out as many white babies as possible? Wait, what's this bitch's name? Lori? Laura? I have no fucking idea. She just looks like a Lori. You claim to be pro-white, but you haven't even... How old are you? 28? That means that since you turned 18, you could have conceivably had 12 white babies by now. What are you doing? What are you up to? You claim to be pro-white, but you're not even letting yourself get knocked the fuck up every 9 months, 1 week to produce more white children? We live in a society. We truly do.
What percentage of America can be white? 60%? 40? 15? 2%? At what point is it acceptable? 3.
So that was a good one. Oh, God. Fucking morning streams, dude. There we go. So, America can be any percent white that it wants to be. I don't have a problem with any particular demographic of any number of people. What I do have a problem with is the disincentivization of people of color moving into this country. So, I don't care if America's 100% white. As long as America opens its arms to immigrants and people of color, doesn't discriminate, either in law or in practice, and they can come in here and live their lives as they want to. I don't really care what America is like. America could be 100% white. America could be 0% white. It really doesn't matter to me. I would say the same thing about any other country, by the way. I say it about Israel. I say it about Japan. I say it about the European countries. I would say it about any country. China, Russia, India. I don't like racial homogeneity. I like open borders. It's not just an America only thing. You're free to go move to Somalia if you want to, or South Africa. I hear you guys have been pretty interested in that part of the world lately.
At what point is it okay to have a border and immigration laws? 4.
Whoa, wait. Oh, it's just the question? You're not even going to expand upon it? Border and immigration laws. Okay, well, I'm open borders, so I don't like them. However, I do recognize that in the modern economy that we live in, you can't just let everybody in for no other reason than because it would create a whole bunch of economic turmoil. And countries have to be designed in a way to acclimate that kind of flow. Like, realistically, right now, if America just became open borders, you know, then it would probably lead to there would be issues with it. Like, obviously, you know, the southern border towns would be flooded with people. There'd be like migrants or refugees that we wouldn't know how to redistribute, and the government probably wouldn't be able to keep with the load, and the economy would kind of suffer for it. However, I think a transitory period towards more sensible immigration laws, that is to say much more lax ones, with the eventual goal of leading into open borders, is just a generally good policy. It's good for us economically. It's good for us culturally, because I don't care about, like, preserving white culture, so I think it's good for us culturally. America historically has always been culturally enriched by the peoples that we bring here, so I'm okay with continuing that pattern. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It'd be like a policy-driven thing.
What percentage of the population do whites have to be before it's morally acceptable for them to be proud of their ancestors, their heritage? At what point can they advocate for their people with unions, orgs, and lobbyists, just like every other group? 5.
Okay, that's a good one right there. So, for one, what percentage of the population you are has basically nothing to do with the social acceptability of you engaging in advocacy movements for your own people. That's pretty much irrelevant. There are groups of people in this country that represent like 0.08% or something that have their own. You could think of some hyper specific like Indo-Native American, like some shit like that, you know. You can be very small, and there are larger groups that have advocacy groups as well, like black people. Aren't they like fucking 12 or 13 or 14% of the population or something like that? So it's not really the percentage of the population you make up, it's the consequences of you engaging in advocacy for your racial or ethnic group. See, historically, I know this is very contentious. It's only supported by every historian, sociologist, anthropologist, political scientist relevant today. Historically speaking, you know, there have been many groups in this country that have been oppressed along racial or ethnic lines. This is up to and including black people, Jewish people, Indian people. I don't know. Just imagine something that isn't white, okay? And there probably have been and are being discriminated against. So when you engage in advocacy groups for those people selectively, what you're trying to do is mend a past wrong. Now, I don't mean like in a like justice sense, like, now the whiteys have to suffer. It's their time. No, it's that they're currently suffering from the consequences of discrimination. Their level of participation and representation in society, in an economic and social sense, is currently lower than it is for whites as a product of, well, discriminatory policies. So, by making advocacy groups in favor of them, we try to bring those levels up to where white people are at. Not bring white people down, but to bring them up. The eventual goal of this, of course, is to eliminate these programs entirely. I know Nazis like to get their panties in a twist, talking about how all the non-white people want to gang up and like fuck white people into irrelevancy before deporting them to, I don't know, the center of the Atlantic. But in reality, mostly people are just trying to get by on their own, and some people have it harder than others, and that's what those groups are for. Eventually, these programs would be terminated because, ideally, in a better world, probably a world without you in it, they wouldn't be discriminated against anymore. So we wouldn't need them. It's very simple. I see that chat is absolutely fucking frothing at the mouth, shocked and amazed to see that in a stream where I have titled the name of a Nazi channel, people who are fans of Nazi channels have arrived to challenge me. That is incredible to me. What an astonishing coincidence. There is no set of circumstances which could have led to this outcome. If they want to debate me, they can wait till I'm done with the goddamn video. Jesus Christ, you people.
When is it okay for a white guy to say, I am a proud, straight, white male? When is it okay for them to be loud and proud? 6.
Well, again, why do you want to do that? See, normally when people say, I'm proud to be gay, they're not just announcing it into the void for no reason with no prior incentivization. They're doing so because they were taught at an early age that it's not okay to be gay. You see, they're reasserting their power and validity in a world that tries to strip them of it. White people are doing okay. And that's the reason why white pride movements, typically, historically, unilaterally, have been white supremacist movements. Designed, run, and organized by people who believe the white race is superior, who will advocate for the needs of the white race above any other, and who advocate for policies which specifically target and discriminate against non-whites. Easy peasy. I'm sorry you guys have such a shit history with your pride movements. Hey, if the past 150 years of white pride was just like Irish or Polish people running around with their flags and doing like dressing up in their the silly native outfits and doing backflips and shit, people probably wouldn't have an issue with it. Probably wouldn't be a big deal, you know? You guys kind of fucked it up there, huh? By making all your big white pride staples attached to terrorist movements and white supremacy groups. Better luck next time, huh?
So what is so wrong when European women want to have white children who look like them? Instead of, ooh, your mixed race baby is so cute, how about, ooh, your little blonde blue-eyed baby is so adorable and unique? 7.
That was a little bit weird. White women can have white kids if they want. I don't fucking know. Now, if you want to have white kids, like you specifically want to have white shit. Wait, like what? I'm white. My parents are white. Wait a second. Wait, I'm a white kid. Do you think that like my white parents had me or my mom like shit me out, and then all my parents like black and brown friends like looked at them and they're like, you fucked a white guy? This is a white kid? Ugh. Look at how pale the skin is. What the fuck are you talking about? People love babies no matter what the fucking skin color is. Now, if you want to say, I only want to have white children, or I specifically want to have white children, like if you're white and that's what you want, the question being then, why? Because you want to have a baby that looks like you? Oh, so if you're a woman, you only want to have a daughter? You can't have a son? Oh, no. Okay, so it's not about looking like you. That's not really the issue here. It's about them being white because you like whites more. Come on, don't lie. This is Red Ice TV. It's a Nazi channel, okay? If you're watching this, if you're a fan of them, you're probably a Nazi adjacent, fascist, some kind of conspiracy theorist. You like white people more. So that's why you say, we want white children. It's not because you want a baby that looks like you. And even if that was the case, like, why? Why is that inherently good to have a baby that looks like you? I don't have a problem with you having whatever children you want to have. I have a problem with the political reasoning that leads to that. Much in the same way that, like, for instance, you know what? I'll give you the reverse. If there's a white bitch, like the one on screen, who wants to get fucking knocked up with some beautiful black seed, all right, to pump out a mixed race baby or whatever, okay, I don't care. Now, if she was running around going like, I want to have a baby with a black kid. I love mulatto kids. Isn't this creamy coffee colored skin so nice? I love that. Oh, I can't wait to have a brown baby. Like, that'd be pretty fucking weird too. Just so you know. If it went, I'm just letting you know, if it went the other way, I would still be really weirded out by it, and I would probably take issue with that behavior. It's not just you, okay? I do the same thing with black people wanting to have a black baby too. If the mom's running around like, can't wait to have an ebony child that isn't pale and has dark hair and dark eyes. All right. I want only white children is literally one of the main points of the 14 words. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Red Ice TV is a Nazi channel. Yeah, obviously. But we're trying to reach him halfway here.
For legal immigration alone, 1 million plus a year come to America. That's like importing a large city every year. How many non-European people need to be in the country before it's okay to say, that's enough? 8.
Never. Wait a second. Wait, hold on. Did you see that little bait and switch there? So she just gave the number of total immigrants that come into this country, but then she said how many non-European people. I'm sorry, dumb white bitch. A lot of the people who come into this country are white Europeans. If you have a problem with immigration, then that would include them. But then you say non-European people. So why don't you just say, we don't want brown people coming? Why with the dumbass dog whistles? Why do you insult your viewers' intelligence like this? Your viewers are frothing at the mouth. They want to hear it. They want you to say it. They want to say, get the brown people out of this fucking country. How many blacks and browns do we need to take in before enough is enough? Why with the immigration numbers? A lot of those immigrants were white Europeans. Also, 1 million a year, not a big deal. What does this country have? 340 million people? Okay, so over the next 50 years, so assuming this number holds true, over the next 50 years, right? That would mean another 50 million immigrants. So 50 years was about the time frame between the Wright brothers throwing their first plane up and above a cornfield to us landing on the moon. 50 years is pretty much the difference between more or less the accessibility of home TVs and right now the modern internet and the height of telecommunication age. 50 years is enormous time. And in that period of time, immigrants will constitute an additional, 1/7, 1/8 of the current population? Like, you realize that every year that's like 0.28% of the population, right? You're acting like this is some like back-breaking number that's crippling our country, but in reality, this is the number we've acclimated to, and our country is doing quite well. Of course, we're not really talking about immigration numbers here. We're talking about black or brown immigration numbers, to which I ask you, I don't know why they're worse than white immigration numbers. I'm curious why you might say that. I have no idea what your political values are, UC. I'm very curious.
People need to be in the country before it's okay to say, that's enough.
Oh, the answer is never, by the way. That's the answer. It's never okay. I don't like just barring people from entering a country because they're brown or black. So that's the answer. It's never okay to say that's enough non-European immigrants. If you want to say that's enough to all immigrants, I could have you justify that statement. But there's no justification for the argument that only white Europeans should be allowed in. I mean, there are, but they're bad ones. Maz in chat. Wait, who are some main figures in the alt-right?
He wants you to debate Stryker.
Oh. Why?
Because he said that you're a coward and that you debate low-hanging fruit.
Wait, who's low-hanging fruit? Stryker?
Apparently
This is a low-hanging fruit? Red Ice TV, one of the most popular Nazi channels on this fucking platform? Mike Enoch? I'd be willing to debate Mike Enoch. Stryker's a nobody. At this point, I've vastly surpassed him in popularity. I don't know why I would give him that attention. Maz, why don't you debate me after this video is done? Wouldn't that be fun?
Too, but he's just calling us cowards.
Ah, I see. Maz, have you ever considered the possibility that it is in fact you who is a coward?
8. You liberals claim to be environmentalists, and yet you are not aware of the horrible environmental consequences of mass migration, not to mention the problem of limited resources and an overburdened physical infrastructure. Yeah, it used to be common knowledge among you, but we have so much and we waste so much, so the solution is to import the entire third world so they too can have and waste much and enjoy a first world lifestyle? There used to be a time not long ago when lefties complained about overpopulation, when white people were having babies, that is, but now they love huge populations of non-Europeans making 8 kids each. So libs, you A-okay with Muhammad up in Minnesota and his 8 wives and 25 kids living off of welfare paid for by mostly white people? Give them all your money then, stay out of mine. No.
Damn, that was a lot of questions you just loaded in there. Dumb white bitch. You really just pumped him full of that. Fuck, did you give birth to that argument? Because that was a solid 8-pounder. Okay, let's go over it. Ooh, let's see if I can go over it by memory. So, for one, overpopulation really doesn't seem to be an issue. It seems to me, and to pretty much everyone else who's an expert on this issue, since I derive my opinions from them. That's how you're supposed to get opinions on really big global problems. You don't just guess. You usually listen to experts. Is that overpopulation just isn't an issue. The populations of developed countries taper off past a point. This has happened in every single developed country on Earth. It is happening to developed countries that are white. It is happening to developed countries that are non-white. It seems to be a fact of the developing world. There are a variety of explanations for this that anthropologists and historians might be able to posit. I am neither of those people, so I can't tell you. Maybe it's because you can have less kids because you need less of them to work to support the family. Maybe you can have less kids because the women are typically liberated in developed societies, meaning that they don't feel they have to be baby factories to like appease a social norm. Maybe the infant mortality rate is lower in developed countries, so you don't need to compensate by making more kids. Maybe, I don't fucking know. There's a lot of shit, you know? Maybe people are just busier in developed countries. I have no fucking idea, okay? But it's a fact. It's happened in every developed country on Earth. So, you know, no big. For two, you kind of changed arguments there. For one, you said there were devastating ecological consequences to mass migration. How? Those people exist wherever they are on the Earth. And if they exist elsewhere outside of America, that nation will eventually develop up to a level comparable to America anyway. I mean, from this you could like argue that any type of immigration from any poor area to any rich area under any circumstances is bad for the environment. So a white person who works really hard and goes from being lower middle class to being a wealthy person is bad for the environment too, right? Because you're just talking about any assimilation of people from a low status area into a high status area. If you're making that argument, your issue isn't with mass migration. Your issue is with the concept of the developed world, you know? I mean, if you want to go full fucking Anprim and like toss out all of the conveniences of modern living and go live in the forest, that's up to you. That's fine if you want to go do that. But do that yourself, all right? And then, of course, to address the dog whistles, they like show a bunch of videos of like a bunch of black people looking scary. You could throw the exact same videos up of a bunch of white people rioting after a fucking sports event, or conflicts at the fucking Irish border, Antifa clashes with Nazi rallies here, tons of white people doing tons of shit over periods of time that look very scary, mind you. If you just take like blurry cam shots of them and overlay it with a dumb white bitch talking about how the world is running out of resources. In reality, the world isn't running out of resources. Well, not all of them. It's going to run out of coal and gas and oil and stuff. But in terms of the resources which are absolutely necessary to the sustaining of human life, those things are in fact in good supply. Food and water. The reasons why we have trouble with those shortages of those things isn't because there's not enough, it's because of a distribution problem. Also because capitalism incentivizes squeezing the market tight to ensure higher profits, Nestle with the water shortages in Africa, destroying supermarket food to maintain a high price, blah, 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 blah. Capitalism, very efficient. But I know, if you're a fan of Red Ice TV, you're probably not a fan of capitalism, right? Because you're a Nazi. So maybe we can find a little bit of a bond over that one? I don't know. Maybe.
9. Speaking of refugees, did you know there are people getting rich off the importing fake refugee business? 10.
Was that actually a question? I don't know. Show me some studies. I don't care. Yeah, there are going to be grifters and con men in every aspect of society at all times. Wait, what is that? This is like the argument like, did you know some people cheat on their welfare? Bet you didn't know that, liberal. Like, okay. I'd like to see the amount this happens, but I don't care. If it was like 99% of all refugees are fake, maybe then, but...
According to international law, refugees are supposed to go to the country nearest to them. So why isn't Israel and rich Gulf countries taking in any refugees? Why must they be flown at our expense way to Sweden, Australia, and North America?
Wait, flown at your expense? Wait, what did she just say? Does she think that the US, Swedish, and English governments buy plane tickets for refugees outside of Syria so they can fly? What? Wait, fly them over at their expense? If you're asking the reason why refugees move farther out than the actual nearest host nation, the reason for that is because they're trying to find nations in which they will not actively be persecuted. And it seems like at the moment, Europe is their best bet in spite of your best efforts. Wait, and flying out to America? Are we taking like Syrian refugees in America? Like we're paying for their flights over here? America has very stringent refugee acceptance policies. So not only do you need to apply to the United Nations to get like put through their system, but of them, the United States only takes like 1% of the people who are thrown into the refugee system through the UN or something along those lines. It is incredibly stringent. It's amazing to me. This is how these videos work, just so you know. They provide a bunch of generalities that are designed to make you feel really upset and get you angry about how no one understands the problems that are being brought about by brown people or whatever. But in reality, what these are is incredibly deceptive leading questions being made by propagandists who build their careers off of pandering to the lies that you want to hear. That's why all of these videos are framed so leadingly. Like, if Red Ice TV wasn't absolutely full of horseshit, why would they have to misrepresent things so frequently? I don't misrepresent things in my videos. I even do them live. So I don't even have the benefit of an editor or a fact-checking team or prior research. I literally just come on stream and say shit. And in spite of that, I maintain, to a man, a greater consistent level of truth, honesty, and factual reporting, a factual conveyance of information than Red Ice TV is capable of doing. And that's because you need to lie to sell these points.
11. About those refugees, do you even know how many are actually fleeing from catastrophic conditions and not just their own poverty? Like, this much.
Can you cite that?
I mean, come on, all those Mexicans seeking asylum. My white sister lives in Mexico. Plenty of space and options there.
Aren't most of the refugees coming up from south of Mexico? What?
White liberals will say, well, it's okay if people are fleeing poverty. We have to give them a chance at a better life to become surgeons, inventors, and rocket scientists in European nations. Says who? Are you saying they can't do it without white people? That they need us to succeed?
Why are there like 16 questions posed into this one question? What's
wrong with their people? That's supremacist. 12.
Okay, so that was pretty fucking stupid. You know that's a stupid point, right? Like, I don't need to tell you why that's stupid. So, for one, the vast majority of refugees that we're getting from south of the border are not from fucking Mexico. For two, Mexico is currently subjected in some areas to a massive war of violence from the cartels, the conditions of which absolutely fit within the definition of what would constitute like a refugee migration. Like, if you're fleeing from a city that is literally under fucking siege by a criminal organization that blows up buses full of people, yeah, you fleeing from those circumstances to find a better life would unquestionably constitute refugee status. If it was mostly Mexicans who were doing that, but they're not. I like the I have a white sister who lives in Mexico and she's doing fine. I don't fucking care. You can probably live a good life in pretty much any place in the world as long as you're wealthy enough, you know? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Mexico has quite a few more people in it than this dumb bitch's sister. For two, so we and then she like poses a straw man as an alternative to the straw man to say that even if it is just poverty, we should give them a chance at a better life so they can become doctors or whatever. So, for one, it's true. I do think that people who are exceedingly poor, who have no economic opportunities in their area, should be able to move to areas where they might be able to attain a higher level of intellectual and interpersonal, achievement. I'm okay with that. For two, then she goes on to say, well, why couldn't they do it in their own countries? Isn't that supremacist to say they need white people? So, this is a lie, right? A person is much more likely to be able to max out their potential and become a doctor or whatever if they don't live in a shitty, war-torn, caravan-controlled, extremely poor area. Do I need to hit you up with that? It's not white people intrinsically. It's just about living in better areas. Is that difficult for you to understand? Do you think that people, as a concept, moving to a place with more economic opportunity is supremacist? I have no idea what point is being made here. This is almost the frustrating thing, I think, with doing the Red Ice TV thing. It's because every question is framed so dishonestly that there's not really an answer to the question. You would just have, like, if I was talking to her in person, she would make the claim, she would begin the statement. She would begin with the phrase, refugees from Mexico, and I would say, hold on, let's discuss that. And at the end of the day, it's filled with so many mistruths and irrational bad faith claims that we would never actually get to the central tenet of the question. Her premise is so bad that it would fall apart even in like its introduction. She wouldn't even get a chance to make it. Which is why I would be so excited to debate one of you people someday. Huh? Wouldn't that be fun? I'm being sincere. I don't know.
You want to help people? Why don't you go help them in their country? But you all never care to help European nations when they're in need.
What? Never care to... The entire purpose of the developed world's, like, economic policies with their cohabitative nations is to ensure they can help one another. What the fuck are you talking about? NATO and the European Union? These things exist to form economic bonds with neighboring countries? Well, NATO is more of a military thing, but that counts. That's helping people. What the fucking Marshall Plan? What the fuck are you talking about? Greece got bailed out. In what world are we not helping Western countries? I have no fucking idea where you could get this idea. Well, you would lie. That's how you would get it. But as for helping other people in their countries, thanks for the suggestions. I agree. We should cut out with the military interventionism. We should support economic development and growth in these countries by investing in them, and we should give them aid, both monetary and like supply wise, as needed. I completely agree, dumb white bitch. We should do more to help them in their countries rather than fucking up their countries and then like acting surprised when there's a refugee crisis a few decades later.
Why is that? Or are you saying they're never in need? And why is that? 13.
See, I mean, like, European countries do have troubles, and they do help each other. They have less troubles than other countries in the world because they are wealthier and have a greater space of other nation states willing to support them. Very easy.
All those filthy rich celebrities...
We're literally doing the question that I said the other question earlier was a stupid ass. Let's do it.
Anti-white trash films. Why aren't you taking in any refugees into your house surrounded by a wall in an upscale, gated community? 14.
I don't live in an upscale, gated community. What? Wait, if you have a problem with like ultra-rich capitalists who claim to support like open borders and refugees and stuff, but live obscenely wealthy lifestyles while not donating any to help, I also have a problem with that. See, this is what I mean. This is a question targeted at liberals, not leftists. I don't live in a gated community with 18 spare bedrooms, but if you do, hey, to any viewers right now, if you live in a gated community in a mansion with 18 bedrooms in your house, you probably have some money that could be going to better causes. Just letting you know. You could probably do something with that. Thank you, dumb white bitch, for pointing that problem out. I hadn't even considered that.
Who made you the morality police, judging on your self-righteous high horse, pretending to be God, saying what is morally right and wrong?
Everyone makes claims as to what is morally right and wrong. Literally every single person. That's how morals work. We assert moral positions and we defend them. You're doing that in this video. You're arguing that people should look out for their own. That's a moral position that you're asserting, like a god. This is incredibly stupid, but sure, continue.
I will answer that one for you. No one. You have zero moral authority. Remember, boys and girls, there is nothing wrong with Europeans loving and preferring European people.
Wait, that's a moral position. Wait, this is so fucking Huh, liberals, you and your lofty ivory towers, saying that genocide and deportation and apartheid are immoral? You have no moral authority. Now watch as I make this completely amoral statement. There is nothing wrong with white people preferring white people to other white people. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? White people are superior. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have no moral authority. Now watch me make moral statement. It's fucking nice. Nice meme.
And stopping the wave of mass immigration and fake refugees into their country.
Mass immigration and fake refugees. I would love to see how many of those refugees are fake. I mean, she said, like, she unironically said that, like, Mexico is a nice place to live. So she'd probably say that she would literally, like, contest the refugee status of literally anyone, even if they've been vetted by the United States, by the FBI, by the NSA, by the UN. She would still look at that and go like, oh yeah, that's fake. But whatever.
No other people would put up with this. And if your parents never told you, it is okay, more than okay. It is wonderful to be white.
These are moral statements. Every moment of every day. Don't hear it otherwise. Those weren't questions. Why is this?
To hand over our YouTube channel.
The last fifth of the video was literally just like self-advertisement. All right, so that was pretty stupid. But we expected that, right? Like, we knew it was going to be stupid. Like, blah, blah, it's okay to be white. So the reason why people say it's okay to be white isn't because they actually think it's okay to be white. It's because they're reinforcing a white supremacist position. I don't understand why they have to go with the euphemism so often. It's pretty fucking cringy. You would think that if Nazis had, like, the truth bombs, the red pills that could enlighten the entire world to the Zog threat, you know, they wouldn't need to speak exclusively in leading euphemisms that mean essentially nothing. But, you know, I'm sure it's a coincidence that literally all, like, Nazi advocates are deranged conspiracy theorists who speak entirely in riddles that, when unpieced, mean nothing or deliberately lie. I'm sure... Maybe that's why everyone that I talk to who's a Nazi is like a small fry. All right. Who was that person who wanted to debate?